Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Know Your World with Nishi. Today we have for you Bishkek, the capital of Kyrgyzstan. But before we start, you should know that we have videos on Kyrgyzstan as a country and some of its prominent destinations like Cholpon Ata and Karakol. Hope you like the video. For those who haven't got a chance to see my video on Kyrgyzstan, here are a few important inputs for travel to the country. The best time to visit Kyrgyzstan is between May and September. It gets very cold outside these months. Many also visit Kyrgyzstan in the winters for skiing at Bishkek and Karakol. Ideally, one should spend 2 full days in Bishkek to explore the city and its surroundings. Bishkek has weekly connection with Delhi through Aeronomad, which covers the distance in just about 3 hours. Although I went there from Almaty in Kazakhstan, which is about 3.5 hours away by road. The stunning drive of about 3.5 hours takes you to the Akzol border, where you cross over to Kyrgyzstan. Bishkek is about 25 kilometers from the border. Entry to Kyrgyzstan requires a visa that can be applied online. Kyrgyzstan has an efficient mobile network. SIMs of Megacom are easily available for tourists. The currency here is Som, and $1 yields approximately 90 Soms. Like in Kazakhstan, one may face language barriers in Kyrgyzstan. People either speak Russian or Kyrgyz. Local food is meat heavy and vegetarians may not have too many options to choose from. Bishkek has one prominent Indian restaurant, the Taj Mahal restaurant, although a few new ones may come up not long from now. Bishkek, the capital city in Kyrgyzstan, is also its largest with a population of over 1 million residents. Bishkek is known for its well-preserved Soviet-era architecture, which is reflected in its buildings, wide boulevards and spacious parks. Located in the foothills of the Alato Mountains and close to the border with Kazakhstan, the city boasts of beautiful snow-capped peaks all around. Bishkek has a strong connection to the historic Silk Route. The ancient town of Balasagun in the outskirts of Bishkek was the capital of the Karakhanid dynasty in the 10th century. Before the Russians occupied Kyrgyzstan in 1876, Bishkek used to be a small fort called Pishpek under the Kokand Khanate. During the Soviet era, it was renamed Frunze in honor of a famous Bolshevik commander. Kyrgyzstan became independent in August 1991 and Bishkek became the capital of the Kyrgyz Republic. Today, Bishkek is a vibrant city with luxury hotels, shopping malls, cafes and a modern skyline. Let's explore some of its majestic attractions. This is the main city center with government buildings, uptown markets, open public spaces, fountains and tourist attractions. The name Alato comes from the snowy Alato mountains of the Tian Shan range that borders Bishkek. Ala means white and Tu means mountain. It was built in 1984 to mark 60 years of Soviet rule in Kyrgyzstan. In the middle of Alato Square stands the tall statue of King Manas. He was a Kyrgyz legend who brought together all the nomadic tribes of Kyrgyzstan. Decorated soldiers guard the tallest flagpole of Kyrgyzstan, which stands next to the grand statue. Don't miss the change of guards that takes place every hour. If you have even a passing interest in history, don't miss the State History Museum at Bishkek. Once known as Lenin Museum, this is one of the oldest museums in Central Asia. Founded in 1925 for scientific research on anthropology and archaeology in Central Asia, it has a vast antique collection from the times of ancient Saka dynasty, the medieval Silk Route up to the modern Soviet period. It also has sections on Kyrgyz nomadic customs, ethnic outfits and priceless cultural artifacts. A colossal statue of Lenin, which once stood at the center of Alatu Square, now rests quietly behind the museum. After the dissolution of the USSR in 1991, this is the last surviving statue of Lenin in Central Asia. Close to the Alatu Square is the Supreme Council Parliament, also known as Jogorku Kenesh in Kyrgyz. This also has the office of the President of Kyrgyzstan. I stood right in front of it expecting security personnel to show us away. There was just none inside. This is the only parliament building in the world that is open to visitors without any bureaucratic permissions or security hassles. Once the office of the Communist Party, it was built to a Stalinist design in 1985. Beautiful gardens and a memorial honoring protesters who died during a 2010 revolution against corruption in the government are part of the premises. This whole complex is open and anybody can come in and visit this place. I told my guide Vadim that it was getting really hot. He says, let's head straight to Oak Park. True he was. It was so cool in the park. This is the oldest public garden in Bishkek, as Russian botanist Alexei Fetisov planted its first seeds in 1890. In 1984, sculptors from all over the USSR gathered in Bishkek to exhibit their sculptures at Oak Park, making the park an open-air museum for exhibits and public art installations. This place is also known as Chingiz Aytmatov Park and is named in honor of the great Kyrgyz writer. The Kyrgyz Opera and Ballet Theatre was one of the first European-style institutions in the country. Established in 1926, the theatre hosted hundreds of shows performed by renowned Russian artists, and hence the theatre received the Order of Lenin, the top honor in the USSR for its cultural and musical contributions. Today, the venue hosts international concerts and prestigious opera shows. Unfortunately, there were none listed the day that we visited the theatre, so we came back after taking some pictures in front of the theatre. Once we were done with exploring Bishkek, it was time for some shopping. No better place than Osh Bazar. The busiest market in Bishkek, Osh Bazar takes its name from vendors of Osh in South Kyrgyzstan who arrived here in the late 1980s with fresh fruits and vegetables grown in their region. Like most Soviet-era markets of Central Asia, Osh Bazar is divided into product-specific sections. There's food, exotic dry fruits, nuts and sweets from various parts of Central Asia, clothes, electronics and more. Just outside the bazaar are the food stalls that come from a mix of ethnic groups from various parts of the USSR that settled in Kyrgyzstan during the Soviet rule. Korean noodles, Russian manti or dumplings, Uzbek samsa, kurd which are cheese balls, Kyrgyz bread, oromo and more. And boy, did we dig into some of them. Bishkek has a few interesting attractions just a few hours from the city. The most prominent among them is the Burana Tower. The 45 meters tall Burana Tower, located in the ancient city of Balasagun near Tokmok, about 70 kilometers from Bishkek, is one of the oldest minarets in Central Asia and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It dates back to the 11th century and is the only remaining structure in the ancient city of Balasagun, which once was part of the historic Silk Route. Let's know a little more about Balasagun. Balasagun was a prosperous city on the Silk Route. It was also a major trading center built by the Karakhanid dynasty during the 9th to the 11th century. At the center of the city was a large citadel along with mausoleums, churches, bathhouses, markets and caravansarais. The city was abandoned after the Mongol raids in the 12th century and a few devastating earthquakes. It is now an archaeological site with a small museum displaying artifacts found in the region. Interestingly, fragments of Christian crosses and Tibetan Buddhist inscriptions reflect the confluence of diverse cultures. An ancient cemetery with several tombstones called balbals reflect the region's nomadic origins. The Burana Tower served as both a watchtower as well as a place to call for prayer or azan by the local priests. One can climb a narrow spiral stairway to reach the top to see the beautiful Alatu mountains and the whole Chu River valley. The Chu River originates in the Alatau Mountains of Kazakhstan, meanders through the fertile Chu Valley near Bishkek, crisscrosses the forests of Shon Kemen National Park, and finally empties into the Isikul Lake. Notably, the river forms a natural border between Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. A few historical sites from the ancient Silk Road in Kyrgyzstan have been discovered in the Chu River Valley. We didn't have the time, but you can also enjoy rafting down the rapids of the Chu River. A must visit for nature lovers and those looking for some solitude. Located in the fertile Chu Valley and surrounded by the Tian Shan Mountains, Shon Kemen offers breathtaking adventure into wilderness. It provides excellent birdwatching opportunities and wildlife sightings of snow leopards, maral deer, Turkestan lynx, brown bear, wolves and other species. The best way to explore the wilderness of Shon Kemen National Park is to mount a horse and go on an excursion. One feels like a Kyrgyz nomad while riding through the forest to a panoramic viewpoint in the mountains. This is the northwestern part of Kyrgyzstan called Shon Kemen National Park. It's as beautiful as this. We've come on a horse about 45 minutes from our resort. It's a beautiful place, but tell you what, this is not unique to this place. The whole of Kyrgyzstan is as beautiful, if not more. Amazing place, see it for yourself. I'm so happy that we came to Shon Kemen. What a beautiful place. Great place to unwind, great place to go on a horse ride, a fantastic place to go on hikes. This whole place is so empty and so beautiful. It's a must addition when you come to Kyrgyzstan. It's a must addition to your itinerary when you come to Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan is blessed with stunning nature and offers ample evidence of its multicultural influences, and Bishkek is a great place to start this journey. If you guys have been to Bishkek, do share your experience in the comment section. Thanks for watching.
Unwinds live their stories